Hi guys, and welcome to the Pecos Aesthetic Woodshop. I'm building a Roubo workbench with all the fixins. It's a big build, so I'm going to split up the videos in a series. This first video will be about the workbench top. This is not a step-by-step guide, but rather a walkthrough of the process I used and the challenges I faced along the way. Let's dive in. I've been woodworking for over 10 years now, and I've had several workbenches during that time. I do a variety of projects, some traditional woodworking projects, but also a lot of CNC work and DIY projects. So I've had a need for a workbench that could accommodate those various tasks. I've also just been busy with project after project over the years and not taken the time to build a traditional bench. But that's changing. I want a high quality workbench with tons of vise and clamp options that's going to last me 50 years and let me do high quality hand tool work. Don't cheap out on blue painter's tape. 3M is awesome. Brand deal stuff sucks. A Roubo workbench fits my needs perfectly. I like the idea of having a removable center section to hold tools and having a leg vise to hold a variety of different size pieces. A traditional Roubo has a tail vise on one end, but I'm going to modify it a bit and put in a twin shaft end vise. This will do everything the tail vise can do and more. I knew I wanted hard maple to be the primary material due to its weight and hardness, but I wanted a contrasting wood as well. Walnut would have been good, but I didn't have any on hand, and I didn't want to rack up the price of the build. I do have about 250 board feet of cherry in my stockpile, including a ton of 8/4 pieces though. I think the cherry will create a nice contrast for the bench, so I'm going to use that. My plan is to use maple for the top and accents like the dead man and vice chops, and then cherry for the base and center gap stop. The bench top is going to be 14 1.5 inch thick maple boards with a center 3-inch gap stop. That's going to be made up of two 1.5 inch thick cherry boards. That makes the whole top 24 inches. I was originally going to buy 8/4 rough cut lumber, but the hardwood dealer I used didn't have any 8/4 rough cut maple in stock. They did, however, have a ton of 8/4 S3S maple, so I grabbed about 120 board feet of that. This will save me a ton of time with the milling process too. I was surprised the price difference between a rough cut and S3S maple was only 65 cents. That only adds 85 bucks to the cost, but the time it's going to save me is priceless. First thing I did was cut these boards to rough length. I want the bench to be 87 inches long eventually, so I cut these pieces to 96 inches to give me plenty of room for planer snipe on either end. Then I headed over to the planer to get the pieces to 1.5 inch thickness that I need. After that, I ran the edge that had already been milled at the hardwood dealer over the jointer for a light pass, just to make sure it was flat and square, and then cut the boards to rough thickness at the table saw. I'm going to cut them to 5 inches, which gives me about a half an inch of play to flatten things down after glue up.
Because it's a circle.
The plan to connect the top to the base is to use a traditional tenon and a dovetail tenon for each leg. This is one of the more challenging parts of the build, and I specifically chose it, both to work on my hand tool skills and because I think it looks really awesome.
Which is totally awesome.
I did some research on the best way to go about doing this, and I saw a lot of different methods that people have used. I decided that cutting the dovetail once the top was assembled would not only be difficult to cut with a handsaw, but difficult to use a chisel on after as well. So my plan is to pre-cut the tenons before glue up. To pull this off, I'm going to square up one end of 2 sets of 3 top boards. I know that the tenons will be 8 inches from one end and 16.5 inches from the other end. So I'm going to use the squared up ends to line up where the tenon should be, and then after marking the tenon locations, cut out the tenon pieces, and glue up these 3 boards for each side. I'm using a plywood sheet to keep the base of these pieces in line as best I can when I glue it up, so I have less work to do later. I'm going to be honest, I've been busy over the last year creating content for this YouTube channel, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to take the time to build this workbench. I toyed with the idea of buying a whole workbench, but dropped that immediately after seeing the price tag. I thought about buying a kit as well, but again, it was expensive, and I just didn't see the point of buying a kit like it was some sort of IKEA furniture. Ultimately, I decided that this was a project my shop was in desperate need of. My viewers may appreciate seeing the way I went about it, and the features in it are going to be a challenge that's going to challenge my skills and make me grow as a woodworker. And to me, that's the whole point of why I do woodworking in the first place, to have fun, challenge myself, and grow. If you're enjoying the content I make or find my videos helpful, I would greatly appreciate it if you hit the like button, shared the video, and added a comment. This goes a long way to YouTube promoting the video and is the best way for this channel to grow. Thank you so much. Next step is to glue together the remaining 4 pieces for each side. But I ran into a problem here. I didn't follow the 10% rule, and I ended up with 13 boards of maple, so 1 short. No problem though, I have plenty of cherry, so my plan is to swap out a cherry board for a maple one on each side. After glue up, I ran the 3 board pieces and 4 board pieces over the joiner again, so I could do the final glue up on my plywood panel and keep everything mostly flat. My 2 completed sides now just need a light flattening on one side. I'm using a number 7 jointer plane followed by my number 4 smoothing plane to flatten these out and clean them up. Once I have one side flat, I'm running the opposite side through the planer to get coplanar faces. I was a little worried about the weight of these pieces at this point, but it turned out being pretty manageable. My roller stands definitely came in clutch so many times during this project. If you're planning on building anything that's super heavy or long and you work alone, definitely a good idea to pick some of these up. I'll throw a link in the description. This part of the build has gone surprisingly smooth. I did notice one problem that I'll have to deal with further down the line though. The walls of the dovetail mortises came out not square for some reason. I don't know about you, but it seems like no matter how many times I check my tools for square, I always end up with at least one element of the build that's not square. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for the next part of the build coming out soon. I'll be working on the legs and through tenons and the rest of the base next. If you enjoyed watching this content, check out this video next for more content from the Pecos Aesthetic Woodshop.